Hi everyone. In this video, I will be doing testing of Fastapi endpoints using Python inbuilt unit test. So I will just show you my Python Fastapi application. So it basically has two endpoints, one at the root URL, another one at 2, and first one returns hello world, other one returns hello world 2. And I will be testing whether this endpoints are working correctly or not. So in my previous video, I did the testing using PyTest. So in this one I will be using Python inbuilt unit test. So first we need to import from unit test module test case, and so this is how we define test in unit test. So I'll just write the class name, say test Fastapi application, or it could be anything, and I will inherit it from test case. Okay, now I will define my test hello world. Now see, I need to make a request to my application, so I need to make a request at this one. So in order to make that request, I will have to use test client, which is provided by Fastapi. So I will from Fastapi dot test client, I will import test client. Okay, and now I will initialize my client to be test client, and I will pass in the app. Now I can make a request with this client, and I'll make a get request. I will make it at the root URL. So remember that my root endpoint returns this message. So I will store the response in variable r, and now in order to assert whether my API is working correctly or not, I will use assert statements like this: assert equal. So I want to check whether the status code that is returned is 200. And another thing, I want to also check whether the JSON that is being returned is what I am expecting, which is message hello world. Okay, so now I have defined my unit test in main file. As you can see, I will try to run those tests. So in order to do that, I will close my server, and so the command to run this is, I'll just zoom in a little bit so you can see it clearly. So the command to run unit test is python -m and unit test. Now I will specify the file in which my unit tests are. So it is actually inside a directory and main file. So it says ran one test and okay, so everything was okay. So now in case our APIs does not work correctly, so suppose it returns some other response than what we are expecting. So we are still asserting that we should be getting hello world response, but our API is returning some other response. So let's see what will happen if you run unit test now. So it says failed, failures is 1, and it also give us the details where it failed, that this was not equals to this. Okay, so you can see that how what happens if it does not work, our test fails. So I will correct it, and okay, so let's run it again. As you can see, it ran one test and it's working fine. So anyway, we don't write our test in the main file like I did it for the PyTest. I use another file to store all the tests. I will create another file for unit test as well, test man. Okay, and I will move my unit test there. So there is an import error. So if I can import from man. Okay, now you have to just see one thing here. Say if I specify the file, it works great, right? But even if I don't specify the path, as long as my module name starts from test underscore, then like PyTest, Unittest will also look for such files and see whether they have the test or not. So you can see that I don't specify the module, and still I was able to still the unit test was able to find the tests. Similarly, we can test our another endpoints, the second one, like we did for PyTest. You can check out my previous video. So this is 2 and it returns hello world 2, and if I run unit test, so it says run to test, and they were okay. So I think these are the ways we can use testing. We can test Fastapi endpoints. We can either use the unit test module, or we can use the PyTest and perform our unit testing. So in my upcoming videos, I will also be going more in depth about testing Fastapi endpoints. So stay tuned.